So anyway, it's good to see everybody. We're really excited about starting this weekly team Zoom on. We figured Monday evenings are good because it's right after the leadership call, and this is not going to be a training Zoom. It's going to be more about celebrating successes of coaches on the team. It's going to be about sharing things that we're looking to accomplish, whether it be short-term goals or long-term goals, sharing ideas. We're going to share tonight a little bit about the cruise and some of the things that we learned from some of the new fast-growing coaches that were on the cruise. We're going to talk a little bit about, building our businesses, or, having this more as a hobby or a business, and kind of distinguishing between the two, and kind of give a little bit of homework too, like fun homework. And it's going to be about, dreaming, and we're going to be working with everybody to help take the steps to get them where they want to go. So, thanks everybody for coming on tonight. And I just wanted to start a little bit about the cruise, which, as you know, that was a qualifying event, and Nora and I were both, super excited to go. It was really treated well by Optavia. They had parties for us. They gave out different types of goodie bags. Everything was really, really, from any trip I've been on in the past, this one was the best in terms of how they treated us and how organized everything was. But one of the other things that we got out of it is we got to speak and meet a lot of coaches. And what was surprising to us was that we met so many coaches that were pretty brand new in this journey and had built tremendous businesses. And so things have changed since we really got started. And so we picked their brains about different things. And we're looking forward to being able to share some of those things with you. And one of the things that Nora and I noticed, and it's what I want to say, that a lot of these coaches who have built big businesses, we noticed were maybe overweight, maybe quite overweight. And what we found was these coaches are coming on board very early in their journey. They're coming on board sometimes 2 to 3 weeks in on their journey, and they haven't reached their goals yet. But what they're doing is bringing people along with them. So by doing that, they're not only changing their physical health from the get-go, but they're also changing their financial health from the get-go. And boy, were they excited, right?
Yeah, well, it was early, and some of them were only involved for 3 months. Some were involved for 6 or 12 months, and they reached astounding levels in a short period of time. And it was obvious they were still on their weight loss journey. And it was incredible because they had so much energy that they brought a lot of people in with them and achieved a lot very early.
Yeah. So Nora, did you want to say anything about that? You're on mute.
Sure. Yeah. I think the process that they went through was, who could they bring along in their weight loss journey? And that's how they grew their businesses. I mean, I was in an elevator overhearing people that were not with Optavia. And they said, that's funny. That person said they're a health coach. They don't look like a health coach. And I'm like quiet in the elevator, and I almost wanted to chime in. I thought, no, I'm just going to ride it. And, the truth of the matter was they didn't look like a health coach. They still had 100 pounds to lose, but they also then had a global business. And it goes to show us that we don't need to look physically from the outside, that, we are a typical quote unquote health person, but that we're just sharing a gift. And if we keep that open in our minds, that we have this amazing gift, these people's energies were contagious.
Oh, yeah.
With, everyone. I mean, the boat, 6,500 people on that boat knew who Optavia was. And we were about 2,500 people of the 6,500. Wow. So people from all over the world now know who Optavia is. So that was really exciting.
Yeah, and talk about the energy. So it's about healthy mind, right? And so maybe their bodies weren't quite where they needed to be yet, but the energy and the positivity that they were exuding because they felt so good because they were on program. And maybe they did have 50 pounds to lose, but maybe they had already lost 50.
Right.
And that was what was so exciting to them. And besides that, some of them were leaving jobs already, so that was crazy. And all the staff on the ship knew Optavia. The staff was talking about how wonderful Optavia was and how kind the people are. So, so that was really eye-opening to us. And then Nora, do you want to touch on these tip calls that they were doing, that these people, one of the things that were helping people to grow so quickly early on?
Yeah, so we all might know them as celebration calls, but a lot of people use them. They change the name to tip instead of celebration, because some people are kind of modest and will need to be celebrated, but it was kind of it's a non-negotiable, right? We just bring in a mentor. This is how it operates, and we're here just to make sure that they are doing the best that they can with the most support that they can. And we know in Optavia that we believe that the more support a person gets, the more successful they'll be. And so I think sometimes coaches feel weird bringing on a mentor in the call, but if we're confident that this is going to give them the most success that this person needs to get to where they want to go, it's a no-brainer that you just do it.
And so
it's
what
a short
happens?
and sweet call, and
Just to piggyback on that a little bit. So you have a client who is on program, and a client is 1 or 2 weeks in, and this client happens to be somebody who's on Facebook. I'm just telling you what they're doing with this tip call. So the new client is somebody who's on Facebook, is somebody who's feeling really great, whether the swelling in their feet went down or their weight is coming off or they've got lots of energy. They're excited about the program. So their coach says, well, now's the time where we bring in my coach just to give you some extra tips. It's always great to have an extra pair of eyes. And they don't say, would you like to meet with my coach? They just make it like, this is what we do.
It's part of the process.
It's part of the process, and the client accepts that. They're like, oh, okay. And then, so mentor coach comes on and, maybe gives them a few tips. And then mentor coach says, a lot of people would probably love to feel the way you're feeling. Would you be willing to post on Facebook and just say what you just told me, like how great you're feeling, how your swelling went down, and tag your coach? So usually the client will go, okay. Client, maybe mentor coach gives them an idea of what to post. Client posts, feeling awesome, 2 weeks into this program, working with Amy Jacobs, and I'm feeling amazing. Their friends start to comment. Mentor coach responds to those comments and, privately, whatever, offers a health assessment. Mentor coach reaches out. Now, some of those comments decide they want to do program. Mentor coach says to client, 4 or 5 of the people that commented on your post are interested in starting program. Would you like to sign up to be a coach, and I'll help you coach them? And people are saying yes. And this is how these new coaches are growing so quickly, because this is happening 1 to 2 weeks into their program. And of course, not everybody is agreeing to this, but enough people are that these new coaches are now starting in their first month as a senior coach, right?
Oh, I saw EDs in a week or two, which is extreme. But we met a number of people that were in the business for just a couple of months, and they were already EDs and above. Mm-hmm. And they acted like, well, they were busy trying to handle all the demand that they have, mm-hmm. right? As opposed to being busy trying to find people. That was not the case at all. It was more about, I've got a flood of people who want what I've got, and I'm busy taking care of that and scaling my business as opposed to trying to build a business. Right, Janet?
Yeah, it was pretty incredible. I mean, one girl said she did the post on it was a snow day in Maryland, and all day long with her mentor coach, they were fielding comments and doing health assessments. So anyway, that's something we can talk to separately to people, but it is about when you have a new client and they're excited, it's when they're excited. In the past, we would sort of wait to offer coaching when somebody reached their healthy weight. And by then, a little bit of the excitement is worn off. But when they're excited and feeling good is the time to really bring this up.
And an important thing I want to note there is that they're not even actually offering coaching. All they're asking the new client to do is just share how excited they are and how much better they feel and the quick win that they've already had on Facebook. So they're not actively going out there and trying to find people who need help, or try to live out loud that much. You're just sharing maybe for the first time, wow, this is really working for me and I'm really excited about it. And then the mentor coach is doing all the work. And at some point when the demand is getting so large, that's when they offer, hey, why should I give you a referral when you can actually just make this into a business for yourself? And it almost is effortless. And guess what? Then that duplicates.
And that's how they're bringing in people so quickly and growing to global director in 12 to 15 months.
And we met a few.
So we wanted to share that, and we can, talk more about that separately. But just to move on from that, because we want to keep this call to 30 minutes, we want to also celebrate goals and accomplishments with each other every week. And so this is something, again, we want you to work with your coach. And it could be something small or it could be something large. So, for example, Nora, for an example, Nora would not have been able to buy the bigger house that her and John bought if it weren't for Optavia, right? That's a big accomplishment. Me paying off my car, that was a nice big accomplishment. Hiring a housekeeper, maybe Amy buying, I think, bought your husband a computer thanks to Optavia. So those are bigger accomplishments. And we want to celebrate the small, we want to celebrate the large. So this is something, we want to be able to share together on this call and just, build each other up and just be excited with each other. So with that, we want to be able to talk individually to our coaches to find out what your goals are and what your dreams are. And so we're going to question just the way we would with a new client, what are your hopes? What are your dreams? What does that look like? So just right now, just for a little bit of an example, we're going to have Matt and Eric do that. So Matt, if you want to unmute, and just like Eric is just going to kind of go with, oh, by the way, everybody knows Eric. Eric's supporting my support with my business, he hasn't been on these calls.
I've been in the shadows for 5 years, okay, and helping Janet as she built a big business. I've just been supporting her, and I'm so glad and grateful that I was able to go on the trip. And before I start talking to Matt about some of his goals, the reason I asked for a couple of minutes on this call was because we know that some coaches got into this organization, into Optavia, because they felt like it was the right thing to do and it was something they could do in their spare time and maybe help some people and maybe make some money. And then there's other people who got into Optavia with a real goal in mind. And sometimes those goals are financially based, and sometimes those goals are more specific than that. And what we know we always encounter through the process of building an Optavia business is that there's going to be at some point a struggle or an obstacle or something to get past. Maybe it's something within yourself, maybe it's a confidence issue, or maybe it's an ability or a lack of experience communicating with people. And at some point you're going to encounter this challenge, and you're going to need to have something that's going to have to get you past that challenge. So you're going to have an intrinsic motivation in order to get past that challenge if you're going to want to build a business. So although the coaching in this organization helps us define financial goals and maybe ranking goals, what I really think we could do beyond that is actually figure out what it is that you want to actually achieve when you reach that financial goal or when you reach that achievement goal. Is there a lifestyle that you're looking for? A partial retirement? Is there something that you wish to possess or buy? Something for yourself, something for your family, maybe a college education for your kids, maybe something like helping your parents afford an assisted living community. These are the kinds of things that will actually touch you and you'll feel it in your heart. And these are the things that will motivate you past your obstacle when you feel like you're up against something that you feel uncomfortable with. So we'll talk more about those on future calls. But for the minute, what I'd really love to do is use Matt as an example here. Matt's obviously somebody who goes above and beyond on a regular basis. And what I'd like to find out from him is what were some of the goals for yourself and for your family that you decided to pursue when you got involved with Optavia, and which of these goals were short-term goals that you felt are easily achievable and longer-term goals?
Matt? Matt?
Matt's doing the mannequin.
Yeah, you guys need you guys need to call your internet company and get some more gigabytes because this phone's breaking up.
Yeah, that was me. Okay, good.
Yeah, you guys just call them up and say I need some more gigabytes because we're hearing every other word. It's kind of choppy. So,
Oh, I'm glad I talked so long.
so what was the question again?
So I'd like to find out from you, what was your inspiration or motivation in getting involved in the Optavia business, and what were your short and long-term goals, and what could you give us an update on what you've achieved and what you're trying to get to?
Yep. So there's nothing I love more in this world than my wife and my kids. So they're my inspiration, they're my motivation. But I also like to be challenged. My whole life, I've been financially stressed, whether it's spending $50 going on a date, paying for a babysitter. I was financially stressed. I did the program. I lost 15 pounds, reduced my inflammation. My energy's through the roof. Mentally, I feel great. I didn't have the best mental health, not the worst, but it's a lot better right now. But my energy dramatically increased. But I also knew that I could do better for myself financially, not because I want more, but because I can do more. For me, it's things like going on a date with my wife and paying for the babysitter, not being stressed. I want to be able to pay for my kids' college and not stress about it. Financial stress was a real thing in my life growing up because it was real in my parents' life. They were borrowing money from me so my dad can take the train. I'd have to get outside and jumpstart his Volkswagen and push it down the street so he can get it running. There were times when we had one car, we'd have to pile in to go pick my dad up. So financial stress was real in my life, and it still is rooted in my brain. So am I financially motivated? Yes, I am. And I think that's okay. My goal is to not make money off of people. My goal is to help people and get paid well to do so. Optavia is a tool that we all possess where we can live our best lives possible. So that's part of my motivation. I'm not spinning my wheels. I know some of you, no offense to this other program, but they were this other program for a beach that related to a human body coach, and they made $46 in 3 years. With my lack of financial stress, I'm driving a safer car. I'm going on vacations with my family. I'm spending more time with my kids. I'm going on more dates with my wife. And one of the number one problems in marriage is finances. We're having less financial problems in our relationship. So it's just like weight can be restricting, so can finances. And I don't have that anymore, which is nice.
Thanks, Matt. And I just want to wrap this up by saying that getting specific with your goals beyond, having the dollars is important, right? And being able to sleep at night, knowing that you can pay the bill the next day. And Janet, you can relate to that, right? Janet sleeps really well at night now. And it's critically important. By setting a goal, short, medium, and long-term goals for what you want to accomplish with that money. Maybe it's mental stability from a financial perspective, or maybe it's like a college education like Matt was talking about, and measuring your progress towards that goal and starting to really feel what it's going to accomplish for you and get an emotion attached to it is what it will take for certain people to get past that barrier that they often encounter when they encounter a process in building this business that's a challenge to them. So we'll talk about that more on future calls, and thanks for an opportunity.
So Eric, we could listen to you and Janet talk about it, or we can listen to Dr. Joe Dispenza, the leading researcher in this field, interviewed by Ed Milet. I'll post the 2 videos he's done on podcast. Great. We can listen to Ed Milet and Joe Dispenza talk about it. No offense to Matt Hagee, Janet Blum, and Eric. But this guy's the guy. It's all science-based. It works. Everything you just said, Eric, works. It's real. It's not voodoo, hoodoo. It's real. Where do you want to go? I want to go to Europe. Bull crap. Where? I want to go to France. Where in France?
Yeah.
Paris. Where in Paris? The Eiffel Tower. Well, great. You just said Europe. Let's bring it down. Well, why? Well, why? Why do you want to go there? What's the emotion? So anyway, I'll post the Joe Dispenza podcast, and people can watch it if they want to get better. Sorry, go ahead.
Thanks. Never heard of him, and didn't steal his idea. Just I'm glad that you pointed out. Thanks.
Yeah. So if everybody wants to unmute, we're keeping these calls really to 30 minutes. It's 8:52. So we do have a few more minutes to talk, to share. If anybody wants to share, off the top of their head, one of their goals, whether it, be small or big, we'd love to hear it, because we would love to cheer you on and help you to achieve it, and, celebrate you as you achieve it. So.
And if anybody has achieved something that maybe they have shared or didn't share in the past and want to just show it off right here, bring it on screen. We want to see it with you.
Yeah, like Amy.
Like Amy, no pressure.
Because Amy, I love the story about if you don't mind. I mean, I don't know if you want to share it, but I love the story about when you went to the accountant.
Oh yeah. So we had our taxes done. And when I got the statement from Optavia, I saw the number on it, and I was just like, well, that's not a real number. Okay, let me just push that in the pile. I put it in the pile, and I didn't look at it again. And we went and got our taxes done, and the accountant, in talking, said the number out loud to my husband. And he looked at me, and he was like, okay, so you have the money for the taxes, but where's the rest of it? And I looked at him and I was like, we had a lot of fun this year. Like, we did fun stuff. We did vacations. We went to Aruba. That was part of Optavia money. I said, you got a new laptop for your business. I said, we paid off the Volvo. We got a housekeeper. I was like, there was other things in the mix that were enjoyable as well that you may not have seen. But, those were the big things that we did do together that was, Optavia, allowed us to do. So this year we will be a little bit more conscious of where our money goes, because it is something you can kind of lose sight of, because it does trickle in different ways, so you can kind of lose sight of it. But this year we will be a little bit more proactive in what we're doing with it, and be a little bit more intentional with where it goes. So.
Well, I love that. I mean, you got that. Is it W-2, W-9?
1099.
Yeah, 1099. And you were like, "There's no way I made that much money."
Right. I was like, "There's no way that number's real. That's not a real number." And then the accountant said it out loud, and I was like, "Oh."
Like, okay, wow, that was a nice little side gig, right?
It's a real number.
Yeah.
And I'm not sure what I did with some of it. But.
And maybe you can show, maybe anybody who's involved in the business, even if you're getting $100 check, and if you buy something with that $100 check that means something to you, and, maybe it's a pair of earrings, bring them on a Monday. Let's see them. Show us the earrings. Or if it's a credit card debt that's been hanging around for 3 years that you couldn't get rid of, let's cut up the credit card right here on the Zoom. Let's have some fun with this.
Yeah. And what some people do is they don't touch the Optavia money all year. Like they can have it go right to that black debit card and just let it accumulate all year and not be dependent on it. And then in a year, like, there's all that money. So, be aware of what you're earning. Like you can get paid 5 times a month depending on your business. So, if you don't understand how to look back and see what you've been paid, let your mentor know. But yeah, I would love to see someone cut up their credit card on this.
We're recording these things. I want to see that. It's going to be great.
Janet, I think the important thing is that Amy just thought she was having fun helping other people, putting in just a few hours a week, and didn't realize how much the payoff was, throughout that time. So I know that we all have different levels of businesses and dreams. So like, maybe you have 2 hours to build a business. Maybe you have 5 hours a week, maybe it's more. But the good news is that a lot of money can be made. And like Matt was alluding to, like, Optavia pays well. And so I'm excited to celebrate everybody's. You were kind of cutting out when you were talking about what people have earned. And, I was able to move into a big house. I went from an 1,100 square foot house to a 2,600 square foot house. And, a lot of that was because I had a whole second income that matched my first income. as a personal trainer. So that built over time, but that was done in 2 years, and able to keep it up, and trying to step out of my other business. So so much can be done, from that housekeeper to the laptop to the Stitch Fix to the vacation, all of it.
Like Stitch Fix.
That's the part her husband didn't know about.
Yeah, that and the makeup.
So you guys, the homework is to dream your dreams, to write a list of some maybe short-term things that you'd like to accomplish, maybe some medium, maybe some long-term, which Dr. A calls seagulls. And dream, and then what does Matt say? Dream, and then dream bigger, right?
And attach an emotion to that dream too, right? So like figure out what it's going to mean to you and what it's going to mean to the people in your life, what it might actually feel like. And try to hold on to that feeling. And that feeling is what's going to motivate you when you don't feel like doing it, or when you encounter a blockade or something like that. And then we'll celebrate.
So we're going to wrap it up. I just want to see if anyone had anything they wanted to add, any comments, anything anyone wants to say.
So I want to decipher financial stress from meaning, fulfillment, and purpose. When you get rid of financial stress, that doesn't make you happy. If you have $10 million, you're not going to be happier. You could be happy rich and happy poor, and happy rich is nicer. But what we do as health coaches gives us meaning, fulfillment, and purpose. And that's what brings us our happiness when we help and serve others. It's nice that we get paid and get rid of that financial stress. But the real payment is really helping those people and giving of ourselves in an altruistic manner, wanting to pay it forward. And when you know you're true and you're coming from your heart, who cares what the paycheck is? You're helping people, and who cares what other people say and what haters say? As long as you know who you are and where you're coming from, you will find that meaning, fulfillment, and purpose, and you'll still help others. So know the difference between, financial stress and happiness and purpose. They're two separate things.
Mm-hmm.
Yep. Thanks for pointing it out.
All right, that's all I got.
Okay, all right. So everybody have a good night, and we'll be doing something similar to this every Monday after the leadership call at this time. So hopefully you guys can pop on, and we will be very good about keeping it. It is 8:59, and we're done after 30 minutes, so we kept to our time limit.
So with any of those new clients that are coming on in their first couple of weeks that are showing really good signs of excitement and energy and feedback to you, let's get engaged with Janet or your other
whoever
coach,
your mentor coach
or whoever
is.
your mentor coach is, and let's see if we can leverage some of that excitement to help out your business and their business without them trying.
Mm-hmm. And if you have more questions about that, of course, have your call with your mentor coach so we can talk more about it. All right.
Sounds good.
So good night, everybody.
Thank you.